That is officially the name of it, by the way. It's called the One Big Beautiful Bill Act.
So in this bill, the Republicans look to make permanent the individual income and estate tax cuts that were passed in Trump 1.0 administration or his term in 2017, what we called on this podcast before the TCJA or Tax Cuts and Jobs Act.
We wanted to pull out the most important individual and small business provisions because that really potentially impacts our listeners and our clients the most.
I literally logged on to ChatGPT for the first time last week.
Hello, welcome back.
Hello, good to see you as always.
Great to see you too. We got the white blouse memo today.
Mm-hmm. I promise we don't coordinate these things. I promise we don't.
We really don't. But oftentimes we show up very similarly dressed.
Yep.
Welcome back, everybody, to Living Richly with Curo. My name is Ann McCabe. I am the CEO and a partner here at Curo Private Wealth. And I am joined, as always, by my lovely partner, Atricia.
Hello, I am Atricia Roberts, COO and partner here at Curo.
Welcome back if you are an OG listener, and welcome if you are a new listener. We appreciate your time, your attention. We know that there are gobs of different podcasts out there that you could be listening to, and you chose ours. So for that, we are very grateful. Our goal here on the pod, as well as what we do in our daily lives at Curo, is to educate, inspire, and empower you on your financial journeys. And in case you didn't know, there was a one big, beautiful bill that was passed recently, passed the House. And, it's like about 1,000 pages plus.
Right.
So we thought so much. Yeah. We thought we would just grab the most important tidbits that impact individuals and businesses and just do a little summary for you all of this big, beautiful bill. So that is our topic of the day. But before we get into that, we always love to do an A-team catch-up. So how are we doing, Atricia?
I'm present. I like to say that.
She always says that. That's always her go-to.
I'm present, but no, I'm doing okay. I am kind of approaching that phase where, like, okay, it's vacation time, right? Like I need a break. It's been a chaotic year, but things are going well. We just had Memorial Day weekend, and the weather was absolutely beautiful here in the DC metro area. Just nice and breezy and almost even kind of cool at night. It was a really good weekend. So got to get outside and have some fun with some friends. So it's always good to catch up. I realize that as an adult, you have to schedule catch-ups with your friends now. There's no more just impromptu, let's meet up. Everybody's got to sync calendars. So it was nice to just have some time to be with my friends and catch up with what's going on in their lives. But now, of course, this week we're paying for the beautiful weather we got all weekend with gloomy rain this week.
I know. And we had lots of rain last week too. We've had so much rain. But the good news is everything is going to be so green and beautiful once we get past the rain.
Yeah. April showers are just a little delayed this year, but
yes, exactly. Yeah. Well, that's awesome. I'm glad you got some fresh air, sunshine, friend time. These are all fun things for long weekends.
Yeah, it was a good time. I also got to see some sorority sisters. The 24th of May is what we call our charter day, but it was the day that my chapter of Delta Sigma Theta on the campus at Florida State was started or chartered. So a few of us got together on Saturday for brunch just to hang out and catch up and, reminisce about the good old days at FSU. So that was also
fun. Oh, that's fun. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thanks.
Happy birthday anniversary.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
All right. Fun. So what about you? What's new in your world?
Yeah, so had a great weekend. We have officially gone to the dark side in purchasing pickleball paddles.
Oh.
It's official. And goalie for those of you who haven't heard our podcast before, this is my 13-year-old son, is so mad at me. Okay. I've told you this. So at our gym, which used to have back in the day just had basketball courts, right? That they would
Mhm,
sometimes turn into volleyball. Then they took half of the basketball courts and turned them into pickleball, but they still had half basketball. That was fine. Well,
mhm.
a few months ago, maybe a year ago now, they decided to get rid of all of the basketball courts and turn everything into pickleball. And this was it created quite the outrage because
I'm
we had
sure.
a solid number of people who enjoyed going to play basketball, including
Mhm.
goalie. And so he despises pickleball now. So when I told him we bought pickleball paddles because down the street, walking distance from our house, there are now public pickleball courts.
Right.
And I thought it would be a fun activity to
Mhm.
do as the family, get outside, get some fresh air, exercise. And he was like, I cannot believe you, mom. Like, I cannot believe you did that. he,
Oh,
he like took it personally. It's hilarious. So he refuses to play. He's
I
like,
don't
no,
I
not
respect
happening.
I respect his taking a stance and sticking with it, but that is so funny. He's like,
I
"No,
know.
pickleball took away my basketball, and now I just can never."
He's like, I can't believe you. I don't even know who you are anymore. I'm like, wow.
Listen, I had never even heard of pickleball until we were all locked down during the pandemic, like the major part of the pandemic. And then that's the first time I heard people start to talk about it, like, "Oh, yeah, we're going to play pickleball." I'm like, "What the heck
What
is
is
that?"
this?
Never even heard of it. So I'm like, maybe it just wasn't a thing that we had in Savannah
No, it wasn't.
growing
No,
up.
it
I
wasn't
just
a thing, period. It was not a thing. And now it's a big thing.
and now it's everything. Yeah, so many people I know. A lot of my golf friends, the ladies I golf with, I call my golf aunties, a lot of them also play pickleball in
Yep.
addition to the golf. And I'm like, it's like swept the nation.
Yeah. It is all the rage. All the rage. The thing about it is it's nice for older people, like it's less pressure on your body
Mhm.
than tennis, and also for younger kids. So one of the reasons that I like playing is with my 7-year-old, it's something we can play together and the ball, like it's just more easily controllable than a tennis ball.
Mhm.
So he and I have played together at the gym a lot. But even at the gym now, like the courts are always busy. You have to like register in advance. And I feel like if I showed up with my 7-year-old, I would get judged so hard. People would be like, yeah, you guys are not real pickleballers. So I'm like, let's just go to the public courts. But those were even busy. So
Yeah.
anyway, it was fun. In other news, I started a new workout routine and I literally can't walk. Like I
Oh.
literally I cannot walk. It's it is ridiculous. So
So when did
there's
you
that.
incorporate this new routine? Like, has it been just this week?
Just Monday, yeah, I started
Okay.
this new workout on Monday and it was a leg day. And I mean, I hit legs hard.
Yeah, I was about to say you love leg day.
I love leg day. Leg day is my favorite day, and
Yeah.
I hit legs hard. I do not even know what to say. I mean, I literally I was telling the team this morning in our huddle, like, I don't think I can do leg day ever again in my life. I can barely walk. It's ridiculous,
It'll
but
just
it feels
take
so
some
good.
yeah, it'll take an adjustment time, right? But that's why it's always nice to switch the work up, because
Yes,
then now you engage some maybe new muscle groups that you weren't hitting before, but yeah, you're probably
clearly.
gonna be like the 10 man for the next week.
You should see me. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, but it feels good.
Yeah, well,
So,
good
I'm
for you.
supposed to do legs again in a couple of days. I'm like, "Yeah, I
Mhm.
literally don't think I can do it." I
Yeah,
mean,
I'll need a break. I'll need to skip
I
this one.
I need a few more days. So, but I'm excited. I'm excited because to
Yeah,
your point, I feel like my body, like, had just needed something different, needed a
right.
little bit of a switcheroo. So, I'm
Yeah,
excited for hopefully, more strength that I can build once I can walk again.
yeah. Well, let us know how it goes.
I will. I will keep you posted. Keep you posted. All right, everybody. So let's get into our topic du jour, which is a brief summary, which is hard to do with 1,000+ pages, but
Right.
of this one big, beautiful bill. And that is officially the name of it, by the way. It's called the One Big, Beautiful Bill Act. Just in case you thought we were,
We were
you
just
know,
saying that,
we
right?
were just saying that. It is the official name of it. So early on Thursday morning, May 22nd, after the House literally pulled an all-nighter, House Republicans approved this bill. It combines tax breaks, spending cuts, and border security, amongst lots of other things. So, again, today we wanted to pull out the most important individual and small business provisions because that really potentially impacts our listeners and our clients the most. So, we are going to start with individuals, a few things that the individual provisions go over, but we also want to remind you that this is the House version. It
Mhm.
is now in the Senate, and we do expect for the Senate to make changes. So, this is the way the bill was passed by the House, but stay tuned. We'll make sure to do another episode once the final bill is passed because we are expecting some changes.
Absolutely. Yeah, so this will be a two-parter at least.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Alrighty, so we'll start with what we think are the maybe more prominent impacts to individuals. So in this bill, the Republicans look to make permanent the individual income and estate tax cuts that were passed in Trump 1.0 administration or his term in 2017, what we called on this podcast before the TCJA or Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. And it also enacts promises he made, President Trump, during campaigning, like no tax on tips, overtime, and then also no tax on interest on some car loans. So, to partially offset the lost revenue of making permanent those tax cuts, Republicans also proposed repealing or phasing out more quickly clean energy credits that were passed during the Biden administration. So, if you are like an EV driver, you know that you may have gotten some tax credits for energy credits on your last tax return. Republicans are proposing that they repeal or phase those out. The bill also includes a temporary boost to the standard deduction. So you may remember in 2017, the TCJA doubled the standard deduction at that time. And then this bill proposes that it boost it by another $1,000 for individual filers and $2,000 for joint filers, bringing the individual standard deduction to 16,000 for individual filers and 32,000 for those who are married filing jointly. It also includes a temporary increase of $4,000 to the standard deduction for seniors. So it's looking to not only make permanent some of the original changes made in 2017, but also to slightly expand those, specifically in the case of the standard deduction. One other thing of note, and we won't go into so much detail about it, but Ann and I talk a lot on this podcast about how much we love health savings accounts, HSAs, and how powerful they can be. Well, this act, the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, also proposes some changes to health savings accounts. Some of the most prominent being doubling the contribution limit for individuals up to a certain income level. For individual filers, that's $75,000. For joint, it's 150. And then including some phase outs for those increases above those income limits up to, I believe, 100,000 for individuals and 200,000 for joint filers. It also expands some of what we call the qualified medical expenses. So if you remember, if you use money from your HSA for qualified medical expenses, you take those distributions tax free. And those are typically things that are, done for preventative care, when you go to see a doctor. And we've even talked about some, prescriptions and medicines, things available on Sephora and Amazon. Well, this will now also expand those to include like fitness centers and gym memberships, which will now be eligible or qualified medical expenses for an HSA. So just want to note that because we talk a lot about health savings accounts, and that would be a pretty significant change to the way the plans work now for individuals.
Yeah, we definitely support that and
Yes.
encourage most people, not every time, but most times we are encouraging people to fund HSAs.
Yes.
Okay, switching gears to the child tax credit, there is also a $500 temporary increase to the child tax credit. So it would bring that up to $2,500 from 2025 to 2028. So set to expire in 2028. And the estate tax exemption also rises to $15 million dollars and is adjusted for inflation moving forward. The inflation adjustment is important and interesting because a lot of bills that Congress passes do not include inflation adjustments and can very quickly, become kind of obsolete numbers when you are not increasing them for inflation, which we know is a very real thing. So, $15 million dollars is quite a lot of money if you are a couple that is $30 million dollars. And basically, what this means is you are able to pass $15 million dollars if you're an individual, or $30 million dollars if you're married, to the next generation, or any other beneficiaries, estate tax free, which is pretty large. I mean, this
Yes.
very much incorporates the majority of Americans.
So majority of Americans, I think, would fall under this exemption.
Yeah, yeah, but this is a big deal because there was a lot of talk about it possibly going back down to, 3 million, 4 million. So 15 is quite a large increase from that amount. Okay, one of the most controversial topics is the so-called SALT deduction. So this is the deduction for state and local taxes. It is currently capped at $10,000, and this bill increased the SALT cap deduction to $40,000 for incomes up to $500,000, with the cap phasing downward for those with higher incomes. Now, this particular issue has been flagged as probably one that will get adjusted
Mhm.
by the Senate. So definitely stay tuned for that. But that is an incredibly large increase. And, some of the states with larger state taxes, local taxes are, really lobbying for the SALT deduction to increase because their citizens are more negatively impacted by that $10,000 cap the way it stands now. And as Atricia mentioned, some of the provisions that Trump promised while he was on the campaign trail, like tax breaks for tips, overtime, and some car loan interest, those were also passed, and those are set to expire also in 2028, which is roughly lasting through his term in office. So these are not meant to be permanent, but this is sort of a hat tip to his voters and something that he had been talking about and promising a lot on the campaign trail.
Yeah. One of the things when you noted the salt increase, I remember when that changed, it impacted a lot of our clients here in the area, especially in the DC metro area and a lot
Yeah.
of these outlying counties where property taxes are so significant. I
Yep.
remember that being such a big deal, but again, curious to see if it actually passes the Senate. We'll
Right.
see.
Yeah. I have a feeling that it will absolutely be on the chopping block.
Right. Absolutely. I'd be shocked. So, okay, we're going to switch gears now to those changes in the bill that impact businesses. And one of the major changes, and this is for small businesses, including partnerships and S corporations, will now be able to deduct 23% of their qualified business income, or you may have heard the phrase QBI, from their taxes. Now, this was known as a 199A deduction, and previously or currently, I guess I would say, has been 20%. So this would increase that deduction to 23% for some businesses. Now, there are a few that will face or facing income phase outs just because of the type of businesses that they are, things like lawyers, accountants that don't get the full benefit of the deduction if they're over certain income limits, but it would be a pretty significant increase proposed in the bill. Then businesses will also be able to temporarily fully expense domestic research and development costs in the year they occur, and the cost of machinery, equipment, and other qualifying assets. So, bill proposing some pretty significant deductions and expenses for businesses and even small businesses in the bill now.
Yeah, and also clearly incentivizing, R&D here
Yes.
in the US and investment here in the US versus overseas.
Yeah.
All right. There are also these things called Trump savings accounts, kid savings accounts. They were actually originally called MAGA accounts, and Congress is like, yeah, no, or the House was like, no, we're gonna call them Trump accounts. These are for children, for babies, and the federal government is going to contribute $1,000 for babies born between January 1st, 2024. So even if you had a child last year, this you would qualify up until December 31st of 2028. Families can also add an additional $5,000 per year. And there are some restrictions, as you can imagine, liquidity requirements or restrictions, I should say. So account holders are not able to take distributions until age 18. So this is meant to be a longer term savings account. And they can access up to 50% of the money in the account to pay for higher education, training, and for first time home purchase. So after the age of 18, you're able to take out up to 50% for those things. And then at the age of 30, the account holders do have access to the full balance without restriction. So for whatever they want to use it for. And one of the things that we are happy about is if you look at the underlying investment, it looks like it will be some sort of mutual fund or exchange traded fund that tracks probably the S&P 500, the US stock market, which is great because these are obviously long term investments. So we wouldn't want that money sitting in treasury bonds, for example.
Yeah. Very interesting. MAGA accounts.
Yeah.
Not shocking that the House decided that a name change would be suitable.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so another proposal is regarding student loans and endowments, and the proposal would replace all existing student loan repayment plans with just two. And this would be a standard option that would allow borrowers to spread their monthly payments out over 10 to 25 years. And then a repayment assistance plan that is generally less generous than those that it would replace. So for student loan borrowers, you may be working, with your different banks or organizations on repayment plans. This bill will propose changes to some of those repayment options and reduce them just down to two. So for endowments, there would also be a tax increase up to 21% on some university endowments. And I'm sure that if you have been monitoring the news at all, you'll see that this administration is pretty keen on wanting to push some changes with certain higher education institutions. So, also not surprising that this would be a tax increase for some of those endowments.
Yeah. So overall, the bill is expected or estimated to increase the US deficit by almost $4 trillion dollars over the next decade. Now, there is the expectation or the hope that it will also increase economic growth to offset some of that, but obviously TBD on that. So, as we said at the beginning, this is now in the Senate, and we do very much expect for some changes to occur, especially because a lot of senators are quite concerned about the deficit and the debt. And the bond market is also certainly concerned. We're seeing that show up in the bond market. And, with the recent downgrade, we do expect for some changes to come down the pike. So stay tuned. We promise we will go through another review once the final bill is passed and make you aware of the provisions that may directly impact you. But we hope that this was a helpful summary. And as always, if you have any questions, either about this or questions that you would like for us to answer in future episodes, you can feel free to email us at podcast@curoprivatewealth.com. If we answer one of your questions on an episode, we will send you an Amazon gift card as a thank you. So make sure to send those questions in. You can also tag us on Instagram. We're at Curo Private Wealth on IG. So feel free to tag us in on anything you have going on financially, lifestyle, or otherwise.
Yeah, we're curious.
Yeah, we love interacting with you. So All right. So, Atricia, what do you have for our closing thought of the day?
Okay, so my closing thought is less inspirational, I think, than it was last week and kind of just more about me and my stuff. But again, another thing that I'm sure any of our regular listeners have heard me say is that I have been very late and intentionally late to the artificial intelligence party. I am terrified of the implications of AI, even just beyond what I think it does for learning to individuals, as you know, our expansion as humans. Because I value learning and think we need to promote it in many ways, but also the implications on the planet, right? And what we're doing with energy consumption to fuel and run AI. But to that point, I am sharing now with our listeners that my sister, who I think I've also talked about on this podcast, she's almost 7 years younger than me, refuses to let me stay out of the AI party. She was like, you cannot be a boomer. You are too young for that. I understand if you don't want to fully embrace it, but you have to at least learn it and know what's going on and know how to use it. So my sister has been introducing me to different AI platforms. Now, to its credit, it has been able to assist in general creation of things that would have taken me hours to do. It was able to do, of course, in a few minutes. So the capabilities of AI, I think, are a little bit mind blowing. Like, I think it's fantastic. So I am slowly starting to creep into it. But of course, now I have to figure out how to balance that with my environmental concerns. So now I'm also going to start doing more environmental projects. I'm looking for like some places to go plant trees or to work on some clean water. Any of our listeners, if you have ideas, projects, or nonprofits you work with, also feel free to send those in because I will also be dragging our team along into some of these projects, because I do see the benefits of just efficiency, right? Especially for things that we are not trained to do, right? I'm not a designer, so allowing it to assist in like building presentations, I think is always helpful. But so I'm just trying to work out the balance of that and figuring out how I can pour back into the planet what I feel AI is taking away. So bear with me, guys, but I just thought I would share that with our listeners is that I'm trying it. I literally logged on to ChatGPT for the first time last week.
Yeah, your sister was like, "Wait,
It's
what? You've never
She was
even
like, "You've
logged
never
on?"
even been to the website?" I was like, "I couldn't tell you what it looks like." Like, that's
Yeah.
how anti-AI I've been. And she's like, "Okay, this is enough. We've gotta figure this out."
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've at least
Um,
logged on and looked.
this is very, very, very big news, y'all. I don't know if you appreciate the level. So and only your sister could get
Yeah.
you to come around. So, welcome to the party.
Thank you. I still think I'll be one of those people that's just standing against the wall, like, holding a drink. I'm not ready to dance yet. I don't wanna dance or engage. I just literally walked in the room.
Yeah, it's pretty cool though. Goalie is using it to help him study, so he's about to be in final exams, right? And
Mhm,
so he can upload like a study guide that he has for a class and it will quiz him, which is
mhm.
super cool. I mean, that's a cool
Yeah.
application of it. He was also using it to like build out meal plans and workouts. So, because he
Mhm.
doesn't have money to hire a trainer or a nutritionist. So there are just so many cool
Yeah.
applications.
Yeah, I was talking to one of my, sorority sisters on Saturday, and we were having a random conversation, and somehow the topic of therapy came up and people going to therapy, and she was like, "ChatGPT is my therapist now." And I was
Oh
like,
my gosh.
"What do you mean?" And she's like, "Well, I ask it for tools, and then it gives me prompts, and then I answer it." And then I was like, "Wait, you're having conversations with this thing?" And she was like, "Yeah, it's really helping me process a lot of what I'm doing."
That is so funny that you mentioned it because I literally just read an article. I can't even remember where it was, but it was an article about how so many people are using ChatGPT as their therapist, which is a little terrifying,
That's a little
honestly.
terrifying for me. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
told her that. I was like, "I
Yeah.
understand that terrifies me because at the end of the day, I think a lot of these things are just tooled with what the general population gives it. Like, imagine
Mhm.
Wikipedia being the
Right.
source for the intelligence that you receive. So
Yeah.
that to me is a little bit scary. I'm like,
Or
"Okay,
even more
maybe not."
terrifying, like Reddit. I mean, because it's
Oh,
yeah, can you imagine somebody on Reddit being your therapist? No,
it's like
thank you.
crowdsourced therapy. It's like, "Oh, please stop." So yeah,
Yeah.
but again, to the point, I do see where applications of it can really help to advance and move us forward. I think the terrifying part for me, of course, in addition to our dependency on those kinds of things, is just the environmental concerns. So if I can figure out how to encourage that in myself and my friends and my team and the people around us, so that we're also trying to help save and protect the planet in the process, I think maybe I can feel a little bit better about it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this is a big first step.
I'm trying. My sister was like, "You can't be a boomer. You are too young for this. You have got to at least know how to operate it." She couldn't believe that I had never been to the website.
I mean, where has she been?
She
I
was
knew
like,
you
"You have
hadn't.
got to," she was like, "You have got to be kidding me, Atricia." I'm like, "No, I've never even logged on."
Yeah.
So, that was an
Yeah.
interesting conversation.
It's so funny. Well, anyway, welcome. Welcome to the dark side.
Thank you. Thank
Glad
you.
to have you here.
I'm still trying to figure my way through this, but we'll get through it together.
Yes, we will. We will support each other through it. As you know, literally as we speak, a robot is operating on my mother.
I know.
So
Kinda
kind of
crazy. Yeah.
crazy that this is where we are,
Yeah.
but here we are.
Here
So,
we are. It's a new
yeah,
age.
we have to embrace it.
New world we're living in.
Yeah, exactly. So, my closing thought is the importance of decluttering our physical space. So I recently, if you are familiar with like Marie Kondo, she's the Japanese organizing, she's the one who's famous for the idea, the concept of, going through your closet and going through your things and asking if it sparks joy. And I, read her book years ago, but just came across an article that was talking, just reminding about some of the principles that she talks about, and it inspired me to clean my desk because, as Teresa can attest, I have like piles of things on my desk that are just, even subconsciously, probably bring me stress and don't allow me to be my best self and be my most creative self and my most inspiring self. And so after reading this article, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to declutter, get rid of magazines that I've had on my desk that, with great intentions to read, that it's just never going to happen, like if I've had it for over a week or probably months at this point, like it's just got to go. So I feel so much better, and I feel like, look, I mean, I still have some piles. It's not like totally pileless, but yeah, I just feel like it feels great. It feels like clean and organized. And the things that I do have on my desk are things that I, need to deal with sooner, more urgently. So yeah, just a little, I know it's kind of past the spring cleaning time, but just a little reminder of the importance of decluttering and having a beautiful, clean physical space so that our mind can also be beautiful and clean.
Well, I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
I figured out years ago that my physical space is often a representation of what I'm feeling on the inside. Like if I'm feeling overwhelmed and stressed and chaotic and anxious, then there's usually stuff all over the place. So I think clearing that stuff kind of helps you settle. I will also note, and you guys probably don't know this about Anne, I don't know that we talked about it, but Anne at any given point will have 100 to 250 tabs open in her browser.
Truth. Truth.
The number of tabs on her browser at any given time is surprising, but I will note to that point, the last time we were
I've
together
gotten so
in
much
the
better.
office, you showed me, you were like, Adrisa, look, I don't have as many tabs. Now it's still way too many for me.
Yeah.
But for you, it was a significant change. So I just want to
Mhm.
also applaud you decluttering your browser
Yes,
space as well.
digitally as well. But it's the same thing, like, just like the magazines that I have on my desk. I'm like, but this looks interesting. I want to read it sometime. And same with the tabs. Like I'll have tabs open of websites I want to check out or YouTube videos I want to watch or articles. And I'm like, how else do you organize or how else do you not forget about these things? But again, tabs I've had open for on my phone literally probably years at this point. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
if I haven't looked at it, it's just not
Yeah.
going to happen.
You're not going to
It's
come
not
back to it.
essential. It's not
Yeah.
essential right now in my life.
So very proud of you. I just definitely wanted to note the digital decluttering as well, because
Yes.
Anne's tabs used to stress me out. Like,
Yeah.
how does this not stress you out seeing all these different pages open? But so
Yeah.
good job. Love that for
Thank
you.
you. I'm feeling good. So thank you for the inspiration and for the encouragement.
Of course. Of course.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, friends. Well, that is a wrap on another episode of Living Richly with Curo. Thank you, thank you, thank you again for tuning in. We appreciate the support, the listens, and we hope you have an awesome week. We'll see you back here next Friday. And until then,
Live richly.
thanks again for tuning in. If you enjoyed today's episode, please be sure to subscribe and share it with someone who might benefit from it. Friendly reminder that this is for informational purposes only. For additional information, please visit us at www.curoprivatewealth.com. Until next time, live richly.